All right, the nail gun section. This can be the most fun and the most scary. It's fun because it's easy to put a nail in all of a sudden, and it's scary because some students don't always get it in the wood. So we're going to take it slow and make sure everything turns out safe. These are actual nail guns. They're powered by air. And when you hook them up, they have the capability to damage yourself or somebody else and potentially harm or kill them. So they actually are one of the only things in this shop that will get you kicked out of the school, not just of my class, but out of the school. So it has happened before. We've had a couple students that used them in unsafe manners, and the next day they were gone from our district. Okay, so it's pretty serious. You don't want to be messing around with them. Actually, I say a couple. It only happened to one kid. So please don't let that happen again. We have a whole bunch of different kinds. They're all used for specific purposes. The most common are the small brad nailers that a lot of homeowners will have. And then the next common is the framing nailer that almost every contractor will have. And this shoots 3.5-inch nails or 3 1/4. And the brads are really small nails. They can come in all different sizes. But you can see there's like 40 nails right there. So we're going to be using a size just about like this when we put the doghouse paneling on. This style is actually, you can see the nail sticks out just a little bit from the tip. This is for placing joist hangers, so pieces of metal that you want to know exactly where the nail is going. The rest of all of these, you're just going to get approximate, so it's not going to give you an exact place. But the tip is pretty small on the nose guard on these, so you'll get pretty close. Right now, the air is not hooked up, and so none of these have the ability to hurt you unless somebody chucks it at you really hard. This is a roofing nailer. You can see there's a strip of coil nails in there for doing roofing. And you want a whole bunch in there because every roofing panel takes anywhere from 4 to 6 nails. So it always, you go through it, nails really fast. Same thing with brads. It's you can shoot a lot of nails really fast with those. So first things first, it isn't a danger until you hook up the air, but you don't want to be playing around with them. I always get the student that I find in the tool room by himself going pew, pew, pew. That's funny, but it also leads to other things. It leads to messing around. So just don't let that happen to you. I'd hate to. One of the students that got in trouble, he had it off the air hose, but unfortunately he was already on his 3rd strike, and he went over to a kid and put it up against them, depressed the nose trigger, the nose guard, and then pulled the trigger. It said a couple choice things, and poof, that was it. So don't do that. Don't be messing around at all. If you hook up the air, now we actually have, if you're over 18, you're going to have even more severe consequences. Besides, that's not where I wanted to go with that. So there's other consequences if you're not 18. Juvie's kind of a fun place to hang out. So anyway, when you hook this up, I have had this, especially on my own tools, of the older style. When you plug in the air, there is the ability, if the plunger is retracted and somebody's been messing around with the trigger, for this to fire when you plug in the air hose. And I've actually had it happen on a job site where I was plugging it in, and all of a sudden, and a 16-penny nail stuck itself in the grass beside me. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Thankfully, nobody else was around when that happened. But when you plug these in, always make sure they're pointing down. They're not pointing at somebody. So I'm going to plug this in now. Right now, there's no air turned on. So if I pull the trigger, nothing's going to happen. Go ahead. He's going to turn the air on. Now if I pull the trigger, nothing's going to happen either because the nose guard has not been depressed yet. As soon as I push it down, now there's the ability to fire. It won't shoot like this. This is a safety mechanism that they're all equipped with. Well, I should say most are equipped with. There are tools that people have jerry-rigged that don't work that way. a lot of times people get careless with nail guns because they're so easy to use and you don't realize consequences. So I'm going to put some together here, and we're just going to shoot a nail into here. So I just shot one nail. Okay, pretty cool, right? It's actually pretty stiff right there.
How long a nail was that?
Long enough, apparently.
Yeah.
So here's what always happens. Students grab some boards together, and then they put them together like this.
Oh.
Ah!
So we're going to have a sticky thumb.
So I used to work in a cabinet shop, or a furniture shop, I should say, and one of the jobs we had was pinning the arms onto these baby rockers on a job we were doing. And I had a little brad nailer like this, and I put it on top of there and then pulled the trigger, putting them together, and all suddenly the whole set of boards was attached to my finger. Because what had happened is it shot down and it hit a really hard knot, and it bent the whole nail around, and the nail come straight back up, and I could see it through the bottom of my fingernail. So I could go around waving at people with one finger. It was great. The problem, it wasn't the middle finger, so I couldn't have very much fun with it. But you can hurt yourself pretty bad just by hitting a nail like on the other side of either a hard knot or a nail, or it will shoot back around and embed itself into you. So it pays to be safe. You have to always know where you're shooting. When we do this nail section, I require that anybody that's in your group has to be wearing safety glasses. This is a section where I potentially will fire you if you're not being safe, because if somebody gets a nail stuck up their eye, usually it's damage for life. There's no way out of that. So we don't mess around with it. It is a safety issue. It is some scary stuff. It's also really easy to use these, and that's why a lot of times people get hurt with them. So again, point it down, pull the knurled part back, slide it on there, shove it back forward, and then I have no nails in here, probably won't shoot very well. When you put the nails in, slide them all the way to it depends on the style of gun. Some are all the way to the back and some are all the way to the front. It depends. You have to read your owner's manual. On these, we're going to slide it all the way to the back. I have had students, when they put the nails in, hold it this way. What's going to happen when I open it? Yeah, they all fall out and then they break. That clip breaks on the floor. So make sure when you're sticking them in there that it's right side up. It's kind of hard to tell, so always find the clip handle on it. So I can shoot one, and it doesn't even look like it does very much. There's a little tiny pinhole. Should have done this way. But with one nail, there's always the ability to do a lot of damage. The fun thing about that is they have people waste a lot of nails in my shops. You just hear this in the corner. And I come over and they're just shooting random pieces of wood. If you want to practice, that's fine, but please don't waste a whole lot of nails on it, even though they are a little bit cheaper. Make sure you're using scrap wood. You're all going to practice on that. When we shoot our rafters, we're going to be shooting in at angles, so you definitely want to practice on that. This is a stapler. We use this for sheeting, like when we're putting the subfloor on. We'll use something like this. The framing nailer, I'm not going to hook up for you right now. That's what we framed up the tiny house with. Roofing nailer works the same style. The difference on the roofing nailer is it has what we call a bump trigger. Same with the stapler, actually. If I just hold the trigger down, as many times as I bump it, it's going to shoot, which is kind of fun and kind of dangerous, especially if you're climbing up a ladder and you're holding it and you step up and it bumps your knee and then you have 4 shots down your knee, which kind of sucks sometimes. Unless you're trying to do that. Yeah. Okay, so safety is the critical thing here. You need to make sure your hands are back, whatever you're shooting. You need to make sure that whenever you plug it in, that it's not pointing at somebody. And now we're